Thank you for staying with me on TMI Sunday as we look at the topic on tackling insecurity and alleged $1 billion missing arms phones, which really started with the outside service of the BBC interviewing the NSA Major General Babangida Mongono, where it was alleged that he stated that there's a missing $1 billion phone during the tenure of the ex-service chiefs, and this, as a result, the money meant for the purchase of arms. This really hitting headlines and rocking, bringing out worries, agitations across the country on how we can really tackle insecurity. You agree with me and recall that in some years back, 2018 particularly, where the president did raise an amount where it was also approved by the National Assembly that $1 billion be taken from the federated account to fund arms purchase. And among that, we had to purchase about 12 Super Tucano aircraft from the United States. And that transaction is between the United States government and the Nigerian government. And issues are coming up as per what is happening so far concerning the $1 billion. Okay, if it's not missing, then what is the delivery all about? And where is the delivery? Do we have the delivery? And what really is coming up in terms of the money expended on the arms purchase and the 12 Super Tucano aircraft? Discussing this with me, starting from my immediate left, I have a lecturer in the political department, political science department in the University of Benin, Neville Obakedo. Thanks for joining me, Neville.
Good morning, viewers at home, and thank you for having me this great Sunday morning.
And next to him is a legal practitioner, a politician. He is Comrade Cosmos Irabo. Thanks for joining me, Comrade.
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, viewers.
I start with you, Neville Obakedo. We have this issue about the controversy on the alleged $1 billion missing arms fund. You heard about what transpired over and how the NSA said that he was quoted out of context, misquoted out of context. What do you make of that?
Number one, the government of Nigeria, like government of certain other countries, they take their citizens for granted because they know that the revolutionary zeal in the citizens have been dampened, so they can play on the intelligence of the citizens. If a retired major general, two-star general, if that major general and two-star general retired is the national security advisor to the president, any statement that is going to make has to be a well-guided statement. It's expected to be very tactful. It's expected to be diplomatic in his use of language, and is expected to observe simple courtesy in his use of language, whether in a local television station, international television station, or a language-based television station. Just now, there is what you refer to as controversy. Mogunu, Major General retired and National Security Advisor to the President, was said to have made a statement in Hausa language. That statement is online. The statement is online. You can Google the statement and you can get the interpretation. After getting it in Hausa version, you can get the translation. Has he come out to say that that interview that he rendered in Hausa language with BBC corresponded? Has he brought it now to say, look at where I was quoted out of context? The answer is no. So anything that he's saying, without bringing that conversation to a public glare, and for him to say, look at what I said, look at how I was misquoted, no sensible human being will take him seriously when he's making a U-turn to say that I was quoted out of context. What was that thing that you said? It's like a man that is brought before court. There's a recorded message that will be verified by a forensic analyst, and the message is before court, whether video or audio. And he is now saying, I did not make that statement, or the statement I made I was quoted out of context, and the statement is before court. What are you expecting? The opponent will say, okay, you remember you made an interview, or you were engaged in an interview with so person. So if you listen to the interview conversation, will you know that is your voice? Will you recognize it? We say yes. That's okay. Court, with your permission, let them play the video or let them play the audio for you. And they will be so shocked. That's exactly what I want the public court of Nigeria to do to Mugunu just now. Instead of coming like Nicodemus. Nicodemus is coming to tell Nigeria that that statement was quoted out of context. However, whether it was quoted out of context or not, this is not the first time that Nigeria is experiencing shady deals by armed forces officials who are supposed to protect the life of the people through the taxes that Nigeria pay to government. Many of them have been put on trial. Some of them have been put in prison. Some funds recovered. But this very last set of service chiefs, maybe another government that will come that is not APC government, will be the one that will put them on trial to investigate this armed deal and the shady deal that have to do with the missing fund that we are talking about. It's just like, by the grace of God, I work in a university environment. Student, for example, will write exam. Then we are going to take the attendance. We are going to count the script before leaving the examination hall, according to the regulation. Then when the results are released, the lecturer will be saying that the script of the student is missing. Is there any sense in that? The script now grew weeks in your house or in your office and flew away, and now the student is now looking for the script. They say the script is missing. A particular amount of money has been budgeted, signed, approved, released. You say the money is missing. Money grow weeks in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Nabilo Bakedo.
Okay.
Like you said, and like we also have been saying, these are controversies and they are allegations because presently we don't have the material, like you said, of the language he spoke to BBC and to analyze it if really he said that. But he has refuted that claim, Cosmos Irabo.
Well, Hausa language is a language that is spoken by millions of people. I did my youth corps in Kano. To an extent, I understand Hausa language. Excuse me. It has gotten to a situation where I don't know whether to say to weep for Nigeria or to laugh at Nigeria. When people do things and just think that they alone that are doing it are only the people that are wise, that are reasonable, it becomes laughable because when the time comes, I assure you, they will give account of all that. In the first instance, if you look at these immediate past service chiefs, they stayed so much, even when it was time for them to retire. The government of the day refused to retire them, or refused to allow them retire, not even retire them. At the end of the day, when the outcry was so much from the National Assembly, and I mean, what else? The National Assembly is supposed to be the micro of the populists, or the micro of the macro populists. The president, instead of listening to the populists, is telling the people, the populists, the right he has to keep them. And at the end of the day, after so much cries, he pleaded with them, so to say, just leave. I will give you succor somewhere. They released them and they made them ambassadors. Now the issue is, throughout the period they were there, did they do well? The answer is no. It was a case of hopeless fiasco. There was nothing. Insurgents became everything.
But is it not also possible that the reason why the president took that decision to also engage them an ambassadorial assignment is for security check?
Which kind of security?
In as much as they occupied a very sensitive position, they should also have their minds occupied. Otherwise, they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Are they the only people that have served as security chiefs? That they alone will be given ambassadorial, the moment they leave, all of them given ambassadorial appointments? You see, the issue I speak, and I keep saying it, is this. There are two ways. In the dense apartheid South African regime, if you kill a black man, of course, in the sight of God, it's wrong. In the laws of other people, it's wrong. But in their own laws, in their own sight, it's very good. So, It depends on what the president sees or that administration sees as right or wrong. If the people are saying these people are doing wrong, and to him, they are his deal, his transaction with them is that do this, and they are doing right, he'll be happy with them. That's the reason, simply reason why, even when they failed woefully, I think he saw them to have done so well, and he gave them other appointments. Now somebody came out now, the new National Security Advisor came out in Hausa language, spoke clearly, loud and clear, that there's a missing $1 billion. We know what $1 billion is. The government has not said anything about it. We've not heard any of investigation.
But he refuted that claim. I think you should also look at that. He refuted that claim. So it would be wrong for us to say that he made that statement.
Wait, would you respect?
That's why it's a controversy.
It's not a controversy because the facts are there. Before I said, I told you, I said I did my youth con in North. I started my practice in North for 7 years. Like my brother said, clearly, if you said I was quoted out of context, you will play it. They tell us the particular place where you were quoted out of context. Thank God he has not said he's not the one who made that statement. He has not refuted, I didn't see anything. If he said it, they would now begin to go into forensic analysis to see if actually he said it or not. But I admitted he said it. But he's saying he was quoted out of context. Where were you quoted out of context? Unfortunately, this country elephants fly. A whole lot of things will be done. Nothing will happen. If you talk, they'll come after you. It is wrong. You see, when a government who is supposed to be, as alleged, as promised, a government that is supposed to come and control the ills, has now reduced us into irreducible level, then it becomes something that is shocking.
Okay, reacting to that, the SSA told the president on media and publicity, Garuba Shehu, did say, Neville Bakero, that there is no way such a thing, theft can happen or missing funds can happen in the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. What do you make of that?
You know that in every government, people are appointed by that government. So long as they want to be benefiting from the government, they will like to speak in favor of the government, even when they know that there are hits in that government. So anything that Garuba Shehu is saying, I will not be surprised because it's there because of what is benefiting from the government. Now let me just digress a bit. I'm a student of history, and sometimes when things happen and I see people not making reference to what has happened before, I will just be weeping. People in government, there's a tendency for people in government to deceive the people. When George Bush Jr. was president of the United States, like his father, he said Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They used American taxpayers' money to jockey around the world. Secretary of State, moving from one part of the world to another, discussing with American allies on how to go to Iraq and destroy Iraq. Firstly, to remove Saddam Hussein from office as president. Then secondly, to destroy the weapons of mass destruction. They went there, removed Saddam Hussein, destroyed the country. One ally of the United States in that fight was Britain. And the Prime Minister there, Tony Blair, sent troops to accompany American troops to go and destroy Iraq and remove Saddam Hussein. So years later, Tony Blair came up when he was no longer Prime Minister. He said he was deceived. Britain was deceived to go to Iraq. He apologized to the people of Iraq and the people of the world that Saddam Hussein never had weapons of mass destruction. That was a deceit of government officials at international level. So if those that we look up to as transparent in governance at that level could deceive the whole world, I wonder if Mogunu cannot deceive Nigerians. I even wonder if the spokesperson for the government, Garuba Shehu, cannot also deceive Nigerians, all because of what is benefiting from government.
It's a human tendency.
Yes, it's a human tendency. So one should not be carried away by the criminal intelligence of people in corridors of power who look for one thing or the other to defend themselves when they are cornered by their misdeeds. As we are speaking, Nigerians are groaning over the prices of petroleum products. As we are here.
Okay.
But But
the
if
worries have been
But if you look at,
because there was no increase like what was speculated.
When you say there was no increase, as if I don't buy fuel. Yesterday I was going to work. I went to
200.
I went to Kingdom Energy. This Kingdom Energy along this road, and I bought fuel 209 naira per liter.
That was as a result of a mix-up, anyway.
Mix-up. I will still go there this morning, and I pray that you invite me again this week, so that I will still have opportunity of telling the world how much I bought fuel. That is, by the way, what I'm trying to say is that over the years, you will discover that revenue that's supposed to come to government, that government can use to deliver the goods of governance to the people, is in the hands of people. They will tell you NNPC did not remit so billion, NNPC did not remit so billion, yes. If you count the amount of money that is in the hands of NNPC officials and their collaborators in government at federal level, at National Assembly level, you will win for this country. So government over time have the tendency to lie, and that lie is always coming through spokespersons of government. So I'm not surprised.
Okay.
When Garuba Shehu is coming out to say something. One, if I were to be the one, they say, oh, you granted an interview with an Edo radio or television station, and you were said to have said this. If I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt I did not say that thing, I was okay. You will play the audio or the video
to buttress what you said.
Let me now tell you what I said and how I was misquoted out of context, so that people will know that I'm a man of truth and sincerity.
Okay, let's see as that unfolds.
Mogunu, right now as we are speaking on this Sunday morning, 14th of March 2021, he has failed to do so, and it's like a bird that is caught by a trap. Is any song, any music that comes to the mouth of the bird, that the bird will be singing. He will no longer be singing the normal song. So let him come out and claim himself, so that we not believe that people misquoted him.
Let's also look at the direction of where this ripple is going to. Now, there are two significant issues raised by this whole argument. One, the fact that we don't have adequate weapons to fight insurgency. And secondly, that the arms purchase, we've not received any of this, or we've not received the weapons as expected. We've not received the equipment used to fight this insurgency. Where does that put us as a nation?
Well, when you put a square peg in a round hole, you don't expect it to stay. It will not even enter. That's the situation. When the head is rotting, what do you expect the body to do? I'll take you back a little. When the SSS informed the government that Magu is corrupt, what did the president say? He said he has the power to keep him there. You know, he keeps quoting that he has the power to keep him there. And then you kept such a person as the head of an institution that checks transparency for how many years? Even when the National Assembly refused to endorse him. It was much, much later that you are now knowing that he's corrupt. This whole period that he was there, the injustice, the damage he did, is at 2 suspense. So that's this is when, with due respect, I'm digressing a little. When Garuba Shehu is coming to say what he's saying, for any Nigerian, it's just to laugh. It is their time. Let them keep doing what they are doing. But no time lasts forever. Now, coming back to arms purchase, when the money is not there to buy it, you don't buy it. That's nothing. With due respect, in my personal opinion, they don't care about the soldiers. In the first time in history, it is in this administration.
Would that not be a bogus statement to make? Because you recall where the president made and applied for the amount to be withdrawn from the federal account, which was $1 billion, and then 496 million was said to be expended for purchase of 12 Super Tucano aircraft, which we are still expecting. Listen, so don't you see responsibility of government in that direction?
Wait, a responsible government accounts, make sure that there's accountability in anything they do. A responsible government And if a government is not responsible, the government is irresponsible. An irresponsible government does not care, has no care for its citizens. If a responsible government have brought out 1 billion naira for how many years to purchase something, you are not saying it, then you are not complaining, you are not talking. It means you have a link to it.
But is it not right to also address the reason for the delay?
That's what I'm saying.
Because the agreement between the U.S. and the Nigerian government was for the Super Tucano aircraft to come at a specified time, not quickly.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. In any excuse me, in any agreement, there's amount, there's time specification, then there's description of what you are going for. Now you are fighting insurgents. You went for so arms, the aircraft. From then till now, it has not arrived. So how long? What's your specification for the insurgents you are fighting? In the first time in history, if I come back, this is the first time in history where 309 soldiers at once resigned. That we are no longer fighting. Why? There's no need for it. We are just being, taken there. I don't want to use the word slaughter. These people don't like it here. 100 and something again retired. That was nothing to the president to tell his chief of army staff that something is wrong with your leadership. Instead, it was applaud.
Well, we can't really peddle figures here because
yes,
we are supposed to verify those records before you even say so.
It was on air, it was everywhere.
Yes, even if it was on air, but
it was everywhere.
We are yet to still verify.
Whether you have not verified is your own, but it was on air, it was everywhere. But one thing is clear: these people live, and some are living. Some are deserting the military. Why? They said they just take us there for nothing. You understand? And then we're just there suffering, dying for nothing. I know a friend whose father is an army, died, and they've not even seen the body today. No, nothing. They've driven out of the barracks and all that. This is bad. The morale is there. But what I'm saying in essence is, if all these things happen, and the Garibasheru did not talk, the president did not talk, the end product is that they are behind what is going on. They applaud it, they see it as good. So that's why when they left there, they congratulated them that they've done so well, compensated them with ministerial appointments. That's the simple truth. If the money was given out for purchase of arms, aircrafts, and you did not do it, what do you expect the military to fight with their hands?
Okay.
It means the effect on it is that the military will be weakened, insurgents will rise.
Okay, basically that's where we are, because even the new service chiefs will be having nothing on the ground to work with or to aid boosting security. Now, the position of the new security chiefs with these realities before us in terms of the arms purchase and non-availability of these arms and ammunition as expected. What's your nudge for the new service chiefs in this direction, Neville?
The new service chiefs, in the first instance, they should go and visit the Armed Forces Act, which specifies their functions and where their loyalty lies first. Second, they should demand from the president, who doubles as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, equipment, the fund, and the material that they need to function optimally. Otherwise, they will be condemned to repeating the history of their predecessors. Number three, they should ensure that the corruption that is existing between the National Assembly, the Office of National Security Advisor, and the Ministry of Defense in terms of the management of funds released for the armed forces, they put it under check. Now, number one thing that I know is their problem is this hierarchical way of doing things. If you have something, if you have a problem, you will have to report it. As Chief of Army Staff, you report to Chief of Defense Staff. Chief of Defense Staff will now have to report it to a Defense Minister. Defense Minister will now have to report it to National Security Advisor. National Security Advisor will now have to report it to the President. There's no time for all those type of bureaucratic bottlenecks. If there is an issue that demands urgent reaction, protocols are supposed to be set aside. And the bureaucratic bottleneck are supposed to be set aside. I believe this is the way those that are advanced in military hardware and technology, this is the way they operate. The other day, an American was kidnapped in the Niger Republic, brought it to Nigeria. American soldiers, I don't believe that they follow their bureaucratic protocol. Otherwise, they would not have been able to rescue the American. So, as we speak, we have a serious security challenge. We should make sure we don't allow bureaucracy to constitute a clog in our wheel of progress. That is that. I listened to my co-discussor, my
But
brother,
again, before you go further,
Yes,
you made mention of the fact that the service chiefs should demand from the president equipment and arms and ammunition,
Yes.
At which they should be able to actualize this goal.
Yes.
But peradventure, the status quo still remains after making this demand. What should they do? Should they resign?
if the status quo remains, just like if I'm governor of Edo State, and I pray that I will be governor someday. If I'm governor of Edo State, and I know that for the period I will be governor, maybe 4 years or 8 years, and I pray it should be 8 years if I'm governor, then people will be making reference to the period I was governor of Edo State, whether I succeeded or I did not succeed. In that situation, I will have to make sure that I try to succeed, to etch my name in gold.
Yeah.
Then if I see that I will not be able to succeed, maybe I can just say I want to resign because of what I'm saying that will not make me to succeed. So that the people will know that this one is a person of integrity. He does not want to soil his name.
Would that address the issue?
Yes. So if I'm chief of army staff and I need XYZ to succeed and the XYZ is not there, because of what I'm getting as chief of army staff, I will not remain until the day that they will say you are sacked or you are retiring. Then the photograph will be there, chief of army staff for so time, so time. And the soldiers who are still serving, they will say, well, that man was chief of army staff. He did not do anything.
Okay, back to...
So it is better. Now, we're talking about corruption just now. My friend, my brother, my co-discusser made mention of Buhari keeping Magu, even when there were indications that Magu was corrupt, as the czar of the corruption agency. Now, the law, and I thank God that he's a lawyer, the law empowers Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief to allow the chairman of EFCC to be in anti-capacity. The law allows it. And the National Assembly that were coming up with report that the man was corrupt, they know the law. And they know that there's an error in the law that empowers the president to keep somebody in anti-capacity. And when the person was supposed to be removed from office, the person is still there. What were they supposed to do? In the interest of Nigeria, to go and amend the law.
Okay.
What they are telling Mr. President, this man is corrupt, remove him. Mr. President is saying no. They put a machinery in motion to amend the law so that Mr. President will no longer have power to be keeping somebody in perpetuity in office in anti-capacity.
Okay, linking it to what we have now.
They failed to do so. Now, what we have now, because what made you to invite me to this station this morning is the issue of security.
Yeah.
And he made mention of the dapping morale of our soldiers, officers and men. And they are retiring in their droves. Some are blowing away, they are running away from Nigeria. And they are abandoning their call to duty. It just reminded me just now of the ancient Greek state. When Athens, that was the center of attraction, and like the headquarters of the Greek city-state, was in battle with Corinth, with Sparta, with Mytilene, with Megara, and other city-states in Greek. Excuse me. Persons composed songs in Athens that they were being sung to soldiers to boost their morale. And every other necessary thing to be given to them was given to them to boost their morale, so that Athens will continue to maintain its pride of place as the center of attraction in the old Greek city-states. I have people who are soldiers. I have family members who are soldiers. I know a lot about the military. There are certain things I cannot see on television here. But there's no amount of money. Assuming this $1 billion is not missing,
Okay.
and they are put it to use. Do you just buy material, buy weapons, and give to soldiers when they are hungry?
Okay, I was expecting you to say something that the National Assembly can also do, just like you made mention of the fact that they can also amend the constitution that gives right to the president to use his discretionary powers to keep the czar of the anti-graft agency, even in acting capacity. So that was why I asked you a question. Are you in this same aspect of insecurity and the arms fund? What do you expect the National Assembly to do?
We have a compromised National Assembly.
Is that what you think?
Yes, because we have a compromised National Assembly leaders that want to occupy chairmanship position of various committees where they can be getting money. Those are the categories of people that we have there. They want to be, some want to be in the police committee, chairman, vice chairman. Some want to be in the army committee, navy committee, air force committee, defense committee, like that, custom committee. They want to be getting money. The interest of the Nigerian state that is being threatened just now by this insecurity, the way we are discussing it and we are passionate about it, they are not discussing it like that, and they are not passionate about it.
What makes you think so?
If they are.
They say uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
We watch them in their live plenary session. Maybe out of 200 or something, you see about 5 people, about 5 House of Rep members, or about 5 senators, crying that this insecurity must be addressed by government. The rest, they will just be joking as if nothing is happening there. This is a public domain.
Okay, that's your basis of judgment.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I want to appeal to the National Assembly that they should be on the positive side of history by ensuring that everything that is wrong with Nigeria today that they are seeing, if there's any legislation they need to make to correct it, they should do it now.
Okay.
Because they may never have the opportunity in the next election.
Okay, we have reports which seem to suggest that the National Assembly wants to really look into these issues concerning the $1 billion security fund that was released from the federal account. Don't forget, this was approved by the 8th Senate. And now, what should the 9th Senate do in capturing the whole issue concerning any anomaly that may arise?
You know, in the first instance, the 8th Senate, to me, happened to be the best. The one I have seen as actual group of people who are working in the interest of Nigerians.
Because to you, they seem to be dogged.
Yes, they were dogged. They addressed issues. They were all not tilted to one side.
But your basis of that assessment, is it because they were always at loggerheads with the executive?
Of course.
Because some people believe that not until the legislature is at loggerheads with the executive, then they've not started working at all.
See, you know what? The essence of the Senate, that's the National Assembly, is to checkmate. And a man who checkmates you, most of the time will not be, will not be
on the
same page with you. When the man who is supposed to checkmate you is always in the same page with you, it means something is wrong somewhere.
There's a compromise there.
Yes, there's a compromise. So, if it were the same set of people in the National 8th Assembly that are there, or the leadership, I tell you, the executive would, to an extent, be checkmated, to an extent, be afraid to do certain things because they know this group of people will speak out against it. You understand what I'm saying? So, that is the position it's supposed to be. The National Assembly, for now, what do you want them to do? I don't want to use the word that they are tied to the strings of the executive, because we all know how, and what transpired, how the same group of people entered. These were the same people pinned down by this same administration when they entered to be the head of House of Rep, the head of Senate. But somehow, the senators themselves, who are mature people, know what they want, said no. We want this other group of people. What's his name? Dogara, wasn't it Dogara then, who was House of Rep? Yes. And then this man, Saraki, they entered, and we saw things done close to the way it's supposed to be. But now, the National Assembly, I don't see them doing anything.
Oh, no, you can't say they are not doing anything, because we have a committee being headed by the Bamiji Benson, which reports have it that they recently sent a letter to the Nigerian Army requesting an explanation on how that $1 billion dollars went in terms of giving an account.
That is
so
what,
it's now we're now expecting a response from that letter.
That
So
is,
doesn't that show that there's something in the offing?
now, listen. If they write a letter, if those ones are responding, it will still come through the President of Senate. It will also come through the Speaker House of Rep. Is it not?
It's coming through the committee.
Through the committee.
The
But
committee
who
in
will
charge
speak?
of the armed forces.
But who will speak when it's time to speak? It's the Speaker House of Rep.
Of course, yes.
And these are people who are put there by the executive. If they are going to act, will they act on their own? It's still through the Speaker and through the President of Senate. That is the situation. So, you see, you don't expect something from nothing. No, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. For the fact that those people are there, they were not put there for fun. They were put there to do something. And that's precisely what's going on.
Are you saying that there's hope lost in the Ninth Senate or Ninth National Assembly?
My brother, you see, if I want to be plain with you, nothing will come out of it. If I want to, my personal opinion anyway, nothing will come out of it. Like my brother rightly said, excuse me, they know exactly what to do. They make laws. They amend laws. How come nobody has said anything about that? Okay, you are saying that, explain. Most of the times, when the Senate, the National Assembly say explain, what do you think they are saying? Give us our share. You think the explanation is to actually see that things are done well? But we now know, give us our share. That's the end product of the explanation. At the end of the day, they say nothing came out, we did not see anything and all that. That is the unfortunate thing about this country. That's why I started by saying that when the head is rotting, what do you expect the body to do? For Nigeria to begin to work well, let it to start with the followership. The followership should be able to elect a person, stand by it. This is the person we elected, and this is the person we know will be accountable. Then the leadership will begin to change.
Okay. Thank you so much. In case you're just joining us, it's TMI Sunday, and we're on tackling insecurity with a special focus on the alleged missing $1 billion funds concerning the arms purchase. And looking at what we have Neville Obakedo, who is a lecturer at University of Benin and from the Department of Political Science, and also Comrade Erabo, who is a legal practitioner and a politician. Neville Obakedo, let's stretch this because reports seem to suggest that even the Air Force are also saying that they are making preparations to receive the 12 Tucano aircraft, but they need to make installations, they need to prepare the base at which these aircraft will be kept, and that could be the reason why there is a delay in receiving these arms and ammunitions. What do you think?
As I said earlier, the people that are in government, whether the military just now, whether civilians just now, there's a tendency that they lie.
So you mean this could be another lie?
Yes. We have the headquarters of the Nigeria Air Force Tactical Command. Was in Benin here before. Government of military president Brian Babangida took it to Makurdi. There is no fighter jet that cannot land at the airport, at the base where you have the Tactical Air Command headquarters. We have Air Force bases in Lagos, Kaduna, and other parts of the country, where this aircraft, including the Tucano aircraft, can land and take off.
So they don't need any extra preparations?
They don't need any extra preparation.
Really? But well, you are not a security expert. You are not even a member.
How do you know I'm not a security expert?
You are not a member of the armed forces.
Philip, how do you know I'm not a security expert? How do you become a security expert? It's not you wear uniform that you're a security expert. I will give you an answer just now. Even though I'm not a security expert, I did not say I'm a security expert.
Okay.
But I have knowledge about security.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not a lawyer. A lawyer is here. He knows that I'm not a lawyer, but I have knowledge about law. And on these television studios, I've engaged lawyers here, and I've quoted decided cases of Supreme Court. When the case of Onoge came up, you knew how I met with lawyers here and how I was telling them what was going to be the outcome. Because again, the facts were already there.
But again, there are other special technicalities that you may not have knowledge of.
That's why I'm not a lawyer now.
So that's why I'm not because that could be the reason why we are having this delay, because there may be some technicalities that are still not prepared for or not done yet that could bring about the reason for the delay.
You see, Philip, it pains me that, well, number one, this is a television station, you are guided by rules. And so sometimes you would like to mount pressure on the people that are invited here not to say certain things. So I don't blame you. But let me just say that when you are, just to align myself with the reasoning of a barrister, when you are entering into a contract, you want to buy Tucano aircraft for the United States, for instance, and there's an agreement. The agreement will include the installation of the place you are going to land the aircraft. Because if they are flying the aircraft from America to Nigeria, and you know that there's a place you are going to prepare for the aircraft to land, it should be part of the agreement. You help us to prepare the place, because we don't have the technical know-how to prepare the place. So you build it into the agreement. As soon as they are bringing the aircraft, you know that that place is ready for the aircraft to be mounted.
Okay.
So if anybody is telling you that it is because of that one, the person is lying. And I hope that such Air Force officials, they are watching just now. And if they say I'm lying, they should come and pick me as I leave this studio just now. So the issue is that many people are in positions of authority in Nigeria, not because of the nation's interest, not because they want Nigeria to succeed,
but for selfish interest,
but because of their own interest. And that is the way they are handling the issue of security.
And that's killing the country.
That is killing the country. Now we are still in a peaceful state. Okay. If the situation is not arrested, and our leaders, whether at executive level, president, governors, national assemblies, house of assembly members, and so on, if they don't have that nationalistic spirit, that national interest spirit, on how to ensure that this insecurity that is growing, we stop it. In the next 10 years, we are going to be worse than Syria, Afghanistan.
Well, I think we won't get there.
I'm not a
we won't
prophet
get there.
of
Just like the former chief of army staff did say, Brutai, he said it's going to take like 20 years. And some were asking, okay, why you were there? Why didn't you say this? Why you were there? Why didn't you tell us?
No, Buratai even said it. Buratai even said it while he was still service, while he was still chief of army staff. Okay. He said this insecurity will still be here for more than 20 years. Okay. The reason why he's saying this is because he knows that himself and the people who are working with him, they don't have national interest. And if they have national interest at that, on election day, the same chief of army staff will send soldiers to all communities.
But they can. But
when they hear that there's the ungoverned space, please allow me to just land. Okay. When they hear that there's an ungoverned space along Benin Auchi Road, and that criminals are there, they have the wherewithal to enter the forest, comb the forest, and get the criminals arrested. They will not do so. They will not do so. And when they refuse to do so, when you go inside and check, you will discover that there are even some underranks who are having contact with these criminals in the forest.
Okay.
And so those enemies that are within, because there is no nationality spirit and no national interest spirit in those top military notchers, they cannot now weed out the criminals element among them, the enemies within, so that they can confront the security situation.
Okay, now looking at what he just said, Cosmos Serabo, don't you think this is quite a big challenge even for the presidency in terms of making appointments? Because you can hardly tell from the color of one's skin how his or her heart is all about. So how should the president choose or make choices in terms of knowing those who are nationalistic?
Well, as a matter of fact, I think it will be a little difficult,
of course,
to do that. But the issue is, if the leadership I say, is right, no matter how your person is, your personality is,
okay, they will fall in line.
You will fall in line. I remember when Arase became the Inspector General of Police, he said something. He said he doesn't want to hear anything like you collect money for bail and all that. In one of the occasions I went to police station, when it was time, I was expecting someone to say, they said, no, excuse me, there's nothing like that anymore. Arasa was not there as at that time. He said nothing like that. It was when you have gone and say, just anything you give us, we'll take. I was shocked. So, like I keep saying, it's an issue of leadership. If they discover that the leadership, the right pleasure in such things, you see, the whole thing will tilt to that side. I tell you something, before Buhari, when Buhari won the election, before he started, people were afraid. I don't know to call names. There was somebody who was high up there. He died out of fear that they were coming after them and that this administration will fight corruption. But later they discovered that it's even worse than the previous. Now let me say this, let me digress a little to what you were saying before that. We're talking about the aircraft, where they would land and all. It's a little laughable thing. You know, that's why I say when they are talking, they just feel that we're awfuls. Nobody has anything off. When big aircrafts land in a Musa Mohammed airport, must it be your base if you actually have something to do or you have the interest of the nation? America carried their flyer, their aircrafts in their aircraft carrier. It is not always their base.
But don't forget that it's an aircraft that is needed to fight insecurity.
Even if it's needed to fight, the Musa Mohammed airport is the country's airport. So it can fly from there. It's not something that you come and install.
While preparing the base.
Yes, it's not something because you are talking of fighting insurgents. I laughed the other time when somebody came on air, was saying that you know this is not a regular warfare. As a soldier, an army officer, when they're training you, don't they train you about guerrilla attack? Warfare is warfare.
About everything about war.
Whether it's guerrilla, it is warfare. They train you about all. Why is it that the same people who said they were going to crush this thing in 6 months, do this, are not giving us excuses? They are there to make money, and they are praying for the soldiers to continue. And that's what we are seeing. I tell you, excuse me, if Nigeria, I don't want to use Nigerian troops, if Nigeria, so to say, you know those I'm talking about, want to crush these insurgents,
It will take them 20 years.
2 days will be enough for them to do it.
Not 20
because,
years.
listen, they know where they are.
Okay.
They know how to get them. I said somewhere here before, Sambisa, they call it Sambisa forest. It's actually not a forest. It's a desert with few trees.
Okay.
Yes. That's why I discovered that the camouflage Nigerian troops wear is not the normal one we know, the green that you use in forest regions.
Okay.
It's brown.
Okay.
To blend with sand color. So you can fly around and you see them. Why is it that they are not seeing them? Come to the intelligence issue. The DSS or the SSS of this country, they are one of the best in the world. I have every reason to say that. You understand? How come instead of DSS giving information to the military, it is they themselves are not getting the intelligence report?
So there seems not to be synergy among the sister
The
agencies.
leadership is what the issue is. Okay. When you do the right thing the first instance, you are punished for doing the right thing. You do it again, you are punished.
Okay.
You now begin to do the wrong thing to get applaud.
Well, we just hope that we see a respite coming in this direction. Big thanks, Cosmos Erebo, for taking our time to be part of the show. And of course, a big thanks to you, Neville Obagedo. I believe you've exhausted your points enough.
Is that a question?
Thank
or
you.
a statement?
Thank you, because I know you always have a lot to say. But
Thank you for
well,
having me.
we look forward
Thank
to
you.
another opportunity to expand on this discussion. Well, we call it a wrap on the discussion segment on TMI Sunday. Stay with me. Don't you go away.